What's up, guys? This is JJ from Akuma Kaizen, and today we're going to talk about accessory lifts for the martial arts. Now, accessory lifts is usually something you talk about in weightlifting alone. However, you can supplement part of your weightlifting workout to help build muscles specifically to enhance your martial arts experience. Now, there's a differentiation that I should mention first of all, in that doing accessory lifts, even though they activate the same types of muscles, is not the same as practicing the skills of, say, punching, kicking, whatever move you're doing. Okay, you actually have to practice those in the same way. Now, there are ways to practice them at the same time, such as the little egg weights or holding dumbbells and practicing your punches with those. But some of those exercises, especially for punches, when you're extending out here, changes your body mechanics, and you don't want to go too high with that, because then you start putting extra strain on the joints and everything. And I usually recommend nothing higher than 15 to 20 pounds, because again, your whole dynamics change. You are working stability. You're no longer working on the extension of the punch, etc., etc. So there's a lot of things a lot of reasons why not to go too heavy on that. So instead of doing those types of exercises and say like using weights, we can do accessory lifts. Now, accessory lifts will help you build, like I said, build muscle to work the same muscles used, but you can actually start loading up a lot higher for that. For example, instead of using dumbbells and free weights to work on your punch, you can use a cable machine, stack up the weight, and do the same type of movement here. Or something I prefer is using the bench press. Using a bench press as an accessory lift for your straight punches works those same exact muscles, gets the same type of alignment for it, instead of using a cable machine, which is coming down, and the angle for that cable is usually a lot higher. Now, if it's adjustable, fantastic, adjust it so then you're getting the correct technique for that. But you will be able to feel that, especially if you're loading pretty heavy on the bench press when you have incorrect technique. Same type of points apply to form, where you're not shrugging the shoulders, elbows are relatively down, not necessarily next to the body for that punch, but again, you're working the same types of muscles and adding resistance in that direction. Another one we do are flies, real simple, with using dumbbells. You have the fly machine as well that you can use, then stack the weight on there, but working that for the chest muscles for the hook punch. So working your hook punches this way. And again, I talk a lot about for striking, just because I'm primarily a striker, a stand-up striker. So you can adapt this to any system, whether it be for grappling, whether it be for anything. And there are specialists out there, trainers, which will specifically make their programs geared towards your sport, a sport of choice, or your profession if that's your career. So again, that's just why I like doing it for strikes, because that's primarily what I teach. But yeah, so using that fly machine or flies for hook punches is a great one. And we were doing crazy eights before, which do utilize that, so it's not just up in front, but we get a little bit of an extra push for that on the pectoralis major, right in the center, crossing the center line for that. Now, you don't usually get that on the fly machine. You don't usually get that when you're pushing both dumbbells up at the same time, because there's that restriction. So we'll actually close a little bit tighter for that. So little small modifications for that. Now for the uppercut, there's a couple different ways you can do this depending on your style of uppercut. Now, I mentioned this before on learning the variations for it, where you see a lot of uppercuts coming straight up. They're using a lot more of the delts, right? Still using a little bit of the chest, still using a bit of the biceps, but a lot of that more is front delt that you're working on here. So you might want to do lateral raises. You're still working the same muscle, the same muscle group, but not necessarily that skill. So remember, you're practicing, you're building the strength in those delts. So then when you do practice that skill, you'll have a little bit more strength to help you out with that. Now, I will mentioning this one for uppercut specifically because in our system, we mentioned this before, we go at a 45, we'll offset, go off center and hit on the 45. Now that does use your delts, however, we utilize a lot of the upper chest or clavicular pectoralis major. So we do a lot of upper chest workouts for this, like UCV raises. We'll actually raise up and across, same thing, crossing that center line, not going center, but actually crossing here to get those, get that same sort of contraction to use as an accessory lift for when we actually do work our uppercuts. So there are different ways, and depending on your variations, right? So training your quads, training your hamstrings, your calves, all that for your mini kicks that you might be doing, or locks for grappling, same sort of idea, but you still have to practice that. Now, that's something that you can break down and try to find the muscle groups. It takes an understanding, anatomy and physiology of the body, and then understanding of what you're actually activating in the technique that you're using. So you can supplement a lot of your workouts or change your workouts to use accessory lifts specifically for martial arts. And this is something that I'm trying to build programs specifically for. But again, if you don't know exactly what you can do, recommendation is to find a personal trainer who can help you out with that and build a program around your specific sport. All right, guys, that's our breakdown for Friday. Hopefully you learned something new and have something new to practice with that. And have a great one. We'll see you next week.